Come back to part three of this journey because at this point, I know you're deep in this story. Like if this was Netflix, you'd be hitting the next episode button with your snacks in your lap. So let's go ahead and fast forward a bit because the truth is from 2019 through to 2021, baby, every year pretty much looked the same. Us searching, us still searching, and then you guessed it, still searching. Nothing was happening except Google suggestions and disappointment. So let's go ahead and jump ahead. So now in 2022, we packed up our whole life in Virginia and we moved to Atlanta. And let me say this loud and clear: best decision we ever made. I don't know what kind of spiritual Wi Fi Georgia has, but life started connecting a little differently. So now, fast forward again, it's 2023, and we finally said, all right, if America won't help us, let's get somebody else to do it. So we took our search international. So we ended up choosing Mexico at first, and honestly, it just made sense. The cost was way less disrespectful, the clinic setup was organized, everything looked right on paper. We had multiple calls, emails, contracts, and were this close to saying yes. But something y'all kept poking at me like this little voice in my spirit saying, Nakai, don't sign just yet. Just check one more place. And guess where that one place was? Nigeria. Child, I tried to shake it. I tried to ignore it. I even told myself, girl, you are not about to bring this up again. Your husband has already said no 7 years ago. But it was that feeling, y'all. Y'all ladies know that feeling that you get, it just won't leave you alone. So I did what any wife who knows her husband would do. I gathered my facts first. I did my little research quietly, and then I approached him like, babe, so don't get mad, just listen. I really think we should at least consider Nigeria. Just talk to somebody, one conversation. Now, surprisingly, he said, okay. He said, give me the information and I'll check it out. So, y'all, the next day he came back and said, let's set up a consultation call. Now, you could have knocked me over with a feather. So now it's August 2023, and we hop on a consultation call with this clinic in Nigeria. And baby, we liked what we heard. Everything was clear, everything was organized, everything just felt guided. So we prayed on it. And y'all, in January of 2024, we boarded a flight to Nigeria with our frozen buns, literally traveling internationally with embryos like they were carry-on luggage. And this is where the real fun begins. Because let me tell y'all something, Nigeria does IVF completely different. So we picked the clinic that I call a one stop shop because some clinics only do IVF, and then you have some clinics that only match surrogates, and then you have some clinics that only handle donors. Well, this particular clinic that we chose, they do everything: IVF, surrogates, eggs, donors, sperm donors, the whole shebang. So you walk in like you're ordering off a menu. So we spent one full month in Nigeria, visiting family, handling every clinical step, made payments, choosing a plan, and trying not to lose our minds in the Lagos traffic. Now, here's where the plot thickens. This clinic gives you options. You can bring your own surrogate, or you can let them pick one for you. And baby, guess who wanted to pick their own? My husband. Me, at this point in the game, I was just tired and I was just ready to move forward with the process. But him, Mr. Control, Mr. I know somebody who knows somebody, he had a friend who knew some potential candidates. And let me just say this respectfully, they were not candidates. They couldn't even pass the blood pressure screening. I said, sir, listen, you're holding up our process. Let's just let these people do what they do. 2 weeks of failed tryouts, we finally went ahead and decided to let the clinic find us a surrogate. Because, I mean, hello, that's what they do, right? So then comes the next part. We had to get an intermediary. And an intermediary is someone who keeps communication, the lines of communication open between us and with the surrogate. Because in Nigeria, the surrogate will never know who the intended parents are. And the reason for that, if you know, you know, that keeps down on any problems with being money being extorted and anything like that. So she will never know who we are, where we're from, where we live, or anything like that. The intermediary is the person that attends all doctor's appointments, makes sure that the surrogate is eating and doing what she's supposed to do. So again, my husband is like, oh, well, we'll just bring our own intermediary. So we went back and forth about that. And I'm like, no, let's just let these people do what they do best. They're the professionals, not us. So we went ahead and decided to pay them to get us the intermediary, and we were ready to move forward with the next steps. Now, on March 22nd, 2024, we got the call we have a surrogate. He's passed all the background checks, all the physicals, and we were ready to move forward. Now, when I tell y'all we were excited, we were in here dancing like we just won the lottery, okay? But as always, life will always life because just a few weeks earlier on February 28th, I got the call that my mom had passed away. So, getting that surrogate news, it was the most bittersweet moment of my life. Joy and pain were sitting in the exact same room. The timing didn't make sense, but God's timing always does. That's part three. Come back for part four.